it was like two souls walking in a crowd, and all of the silence is a mirror everywhere you go, and you can't escape it. So you can't put on a facade. It's still gonna show. Even if you don't know how to do it, you're still gonna do it. But that definitely shakes and rocks your world from the very root. And you question everything. I adopted clown facade because, like I said, I don't necessarily like people knowing what I'm feeling, but I also don't want to feel miserable. And I guess, I don't know, probably because my aunties and my grandmother are very funny people. And my dad, I picked it up as a habit, just reformulating everything as a joke. And then it just sticks.
So you had the same nightmare for 27 years.
Yes.
Welcome, dear listeners, to another episode of the Oliver Shearer Show. Let me be your dream catcher. Let me help you to get those dreams closer to you by going out and finding guests that share with us mind-altering and expanding topics, knowledge, and insights so that you can move forward and get closer to grab that dream that brings you closer with your true self, your soul, and your bigger you, and to the universe and all there is. There we go. We are recording, and welcome to another Oliver Shearer Show podcast episode. And today I'm not talking to someone like 5 or 10 hours away. There's someone very close. I'm here in Denmark, and my guest, Shamilla, is in the UK. And
Yes.
you were recommended to me from a common friend. And so your name is Shamilla Ambrosini. You grew up in Italy, but you're born somewhere in Africa, and you live now in the UK. You have also lived in some other countries. And we're talking about your Unlocking Health project and Unlocking Your Spiritual Growth Journey project. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
You're welcome. So how would you describe yourself in 3 words, and why are you choosing those words with a bit of explanation?
Okay. I think that I would describe myself firstly a little bit weird, as in is often been the adjective that people use to describe me, and doesn't necessarily have a negative connotation, which it did carry for a little bit. But then you also had the positive spin. So for me, I reframed it for myself, and it's actually a compliment. I'm actually happy when someone noticed that. I'm like, oh, so you can see. Nice. So,
So you're weird in the positive way.
yeah.
How is that weird in the positive way for you? What is it? The way you talk to people, the way you dress, the way you work? What is weird?
I guess it's a combination of factors rather than just one thing that stands out. I would say that I'm very direct, curious, extremely curious, and probably zero filters standing to society today. So
Right.
very genuine. So like this, not often a negative connotation if it's not primed in, is genuine curiosity. It's kind of like thirst, never like that you can't quench in a sense.
Okay. So how would you then describe with the other 2 words? What would those be? Direct and
Uh,
curious, or something else?
I would say tender as the second one. Because often, no matter the circumstances, and there's definitely a lot of ways to approach. But I found out for myself, at least in my experience, that tenderness often have I sense success of rate. Like people are not used to that, so the response is probably gonna be frozen more often than not, or shock, and it's genuine. They're not coming from any type of place. So they kind of like the energy stops, like everything stops in that moment.
Okay, and the third word, how would you describe that?
Blessed. Yeah.
Blessed.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you choose blessed?
Because even though things didn't play out probably in a better manner or healthier manner, um, and there was a lot of darkness, uh, first of all, I was surrounded by love at all times. So that has to count as a blessing. I was lucky enough to be aware and to do something with it and to be blessed with people that could help or offer me some sort of healing or space to recover or safety net. So that has to count for other blessings. And then because I still believe in a positive outcome and the Most High, which I in all today's society, I have to believe there is a blessing.
That's good. That's good. Did you always have that feeling of blessing, or is it something that comes in the last months?
I think that on some level, I always did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, to get to know you even better and to break the ice even more, if we have a coloring box and you're the new adding of color, what color would you be and why would you be that color? Can be any color, can be transparent, can be yellow, red, blue. Why would you choose that color?
Um, I would say that currently the color that probably represents me the most is red, but I would love to be transparent. Then, and there's a lot of work to go from red to transparent.
Okay, well, what does red represent for you, the color red?
Um, red can be two sides. It can be very passionate, warmth, like all feelings surrounding love and belonging, red. And then could also be extremely danger, fire, power, destruction, and it's still red.
And you feel like you're both sides, or
Yeah.
definitely. There was not even a second of thinking. And the transparent, what would the you want to be transparent? What is that for you?
Yes. Um, being completely authentic and aligned. And I know that is probably very practically not possible at all times, 100%. But I would like to be as much as possible. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, yeah. So, don't we all want to be somehow authentic and
Right.
true to our self? But many people are too afraid of it. Um, so now, when we have to talk, where are you now, and how did you get there? So, the what we're going to talk about, your journey. So what is the big, title or description, and how did you get there?
Well, I would say that currently, um, if I had to pick a title of this chapter, it would be called Shredding.
Shredding.
Let shredding, yes, like like a snake that shreds the old skin,
Ah, yeah, shedding.
right? So everything that uh, made you was part of you up until that time kind of needs to die and be left behind so you can proceed. And some part of it, they are painless. You don't even realize it. Oftentimes you find, oh, how did I get here? And the other parts of the journey are, oh my God, I did not sign up for this. Nobody told me. How did you go away from here? And there's no place to hide because now you started it. And once you start, you can't pause it. Even if you want, it's just not possible. And you realize you're not in control, which freaks you out even more because all up until then you're like, everything that I think goes. And now you're not even in control. And you're like, yo.
So what happened to you? I only got very little information, so I don't really know. It kind of happened by me asking some weird question myself to our common friend. So you say it's growth. Sometimes it's just happening and you don't know what happened, and you just look back and like, whoa, I just shed things and I grew and I didn't realize that just came painless. It came effortless. And other times it's with a lot of pain.
Yes.
Do you have any examples that stand out? So for people which listen and say, okay, how do I grow painless? How do I grow without realizing? How do we do that?
So, as an awesome example, I would say me meeting my partner, for example. We met in the most uncommon way for me, for the person that I was at the time. Very cynical, very, yes, I can do it by myself. I don't need nobody. But at the same time, very invested and curious in self-healing in a sense. I was very curious to certain topics. So I used to buy books or even more so call my aunties, which live in America, in Canada, which are very spiritual. And they are, one of them is a neuro-linguistic practitioner. So they're very much in tune with this part of the journey. Um, so that helped. But then my surroundings, um, I would say that confirmed all my old beliefs. For example, like I have a very strict and religious family. So a lot of my core beliefs come from a religion point of view or culture. So in a sense, it did serve me because it did give me a lot of discipline that it got me so far. But for what I envision for myself, for what my soul screams out loud, there's so much friction that he, because thankfully I'm curious, he still allowed me to go and seek for certain nuggets and knowledge. But at the same time, it's like you're almost there, but you can't really touch it and make it yours because of all these things holding you back. And if your surrounding keeps confirming the opposite, then you start thinking like, maybe I am crazy, like, why? Everybody seems to be okay with just less and being just fine. Maybe I am shooting for the stars. Why?
You look for bigger, but you start with saying the effortlessness for you was like meeting your partner in
Yes.
a different way for you because you always or you were in the position of saying I don't need anyone and I'm self-invested, so I'm looking for healing, reading, searching. You have a little bit of a family background with some spirituality there. So what was so different meeting your partner and why was it so effortless? Why was it such a surprise?
Well, we met on Tinder, which was after COVID, which was the new normality, but still not quite as normal for me. I'm normally used to meeting people face to face and picking on the vibe. So it was very odd and new. And her profile stood out because her pictures were not filtered. So I was like, yeah, she's got confidence because there's no filters, like in no pictures. I was like, she confident. I like that. She didn't take the time to edit anything. So that stood up straight. And the way she described herself and what she's looking for in other people. So two things stood out. The fact that she was very confident in herself and unapologetic, which I liked. And the second was that she was very invested in evolving as a human being, and she wanted to make the world a better place. So that's not really something that I find in any type of dating app ever. So I was like, wow, that's brave, especially nowadays where people would look at you in some sort of way. I was like enticed.
So
So I was right.
yeah, so you just gave me a hint on how I should change my Tinder profile.
Different.
No, I don't have,
Okay.
but so for you it was like also this going online and this not actually feeling, but you felt a connection, so it was easy, and so you
See,
reached out to her, huh? So
see,
see,
and
and yeah,
right.
for the listeners, you grew up in Italy, so
See, yeah.
that's where it comes from. Um, and how would be an example for the painful change?
Well, because when we met, she was very foreign to me uh, as a human. Like I've not met a person like that. And at the same time, she was giving me these deja vu vibes and reminding me of a lot of people that I have respect for and I consider great leaders within my own surroundings. But at the same time, she had a completely different perspective and attitude towards it, still carrying the same qualities in a sense. So she was very genuine, very strong willed, open minded. But what struck me was her kindness towards everybody, and kindness even when she was met with disrespect, blatant disrespect. She still responded with kindness. And that was foreign to me. I'm like, didn't really understand it. But at the same time, because I'm religious and I grew up with a grandmother who was very similar, like only kindness can describe her. It kind of shook me to my core. And I just couldn't, like everything there was started falling. Like I started falling apart with kindness.
And that was painful for you? That was a painful change because your
Yeah.
partner or was so kind?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
I know it's odd, but yes,
So what what
it
what
like
what did you have to let go inside you that you didn't want to let go? Or why was it painful? Was it something inside you that you had to let go, which you simply did not want to let go, or a belief, a habit, or what was it?
the only way we could have interacted and really get to know one another was if we was authentic. So it was like two souls walking in a crowd, and all of the silence is a mirror everywhere you go, and you can't escape it. So you can't put on a facade. It's still gonna show. Even if you don't know how to do it, you're still gonna do it. But that definitely shakes and rocks your world from the very root. And you question everything.
So you had to be more honest yourself, and you were not used to that.
No, it's not something, I would say, as honest as I can. Ines.
No, I mean,
in a sense.
perhaps I have to find another way. I see that people, and I've also had in my talks with people on the podcast and off the show, talked about wearing the masks and being authentic and our surroundings, our upbringing, the church, the Catholic Church. I don't know so much about the Muslim world or the Protestant church, the school, your family, uh, your surrounding. They kind of train you in a certain way, and you have to behave in a certain way.
Yeah.
Kids should behave in a certain way when you go out in a restaurant, when you're home, blah 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 blah. And my ex-wife told me a lot, like, you cannot like that when you meet strangers. You should be different. You, no wonder you have problems at work because you act like that, because at work you have to be different. And I'm like, why do I need to be different in all these places? I'm me. I do understand there's a certain ways to be different, but I think many people wear masks or they change their personality to a degree they do not know themselves anymore. So they're not really authentic and true. As you say, you want to be transparent because you think that's more authentic and more true to yourself. Uh, and that's why I asked. So was it kind of like you were through different cultures and schooling and all the environment? Did you learn to hide yourself? And now you had someone which was kind of different, more direct, more herself. So you were
Well,
kind of
yeah,
forced.
exactly, exactly. That was definitely a part of it. And then the environment next to her was very healthy. And I didn't necessarily know that that was the label. I just thought it was like something I've never seen. Like, what do you mean? Starting from everything, like, because for her being already honest with herself obligated me to be honest with myself. So, for example, I was born in Zimbabwe, and then my mom left uh, for Italy with my dad because they got married. My mom married my dad in Zimbabwe. My dad is from Italy, and they met not a lot after apartheid. So I think that that was very new also. And at the time, because probably of the background situation, geopolitical, they had to leave. So they went to Italy. But I was left behind with my grandma and my mom's sisters, my aunties and my uncle. And so when mom came, I think a year and a half after to pick me up and she took me to Italy. I guess then back in the 90s, where it was very odd seeing people that looked like us, especially in our village. We were the only one up until a good 9 years in. So it was very different. So I guess that probably also had an impact. My sisters and my brothers look all different from me. So definitely probably that played some role in my psyche. Um,
So, you have sisters and brothers from the same parents or half sisters and brothers?
well, yes, we have, they all share the same dad, but at the time I didn't know that we didn't. So it's something that I found out when I was 27
Oh,
by error, by mistake. But it's always been a suspect, like something that I suspected really deeply because we don't look alike. Uh, our family, our relatives, like for example, is a very huge family. We all meet somehow. They all mix with the all type of races. So it's and I love that part of our families. Is what makes me so proud. So even in seeing them mixing, there was something that wasn't really turning out to make sense to me. To me, so it was already very little, but it really struck me because I was in Italy, so people didn't look like me. So I was bullied a lot, but I was never the type of kid that used to just like just withdraw. I always used to fight back, literally fight back until I always get in trouble. So then, because you get in trouble, you learn to be a little bit more sneaky about a situation. And if you have strict parents, you get creative very early, very early.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's how I operated to survive the type of bullying. Because at the same time, I didn't want people to know that this is what I'm feeling. You're gonna think I'm weak, so I'm not gonna give you that.
Yeah. So you
Mm.
physically you're physically fighting back to protect yourself. And Italy is very Catholic and very strict in some regions. Uh, yeah. Wow. Yeah. So you basically, you learn from a young age how to show one face to be accepted in the world and stand out and be left alone. And I can see why you said I can stand by myself. You know, why should I have a new partner? So this is these are deep wounds like childhood. Uh, and you, when did you start actually to work hard on those things? Is it like 10, 20 years ago, or is it something like 6 months ago, or
We started very early as because of course after being bullied like that, of course I developed this type of behavior by being very quiet, but still striking and not very being approachable and stuff like that until my mom had to withdraw me from kindergarten.
oh,
Uh,
kindergarten?
yeah.
I thought something like 14, 15 years old or something. Kindergarten. Oh my God.
Yes. So she kept me home for nearly a year until my sister was ready to go to kindergarten. So by that time, we were like kind of a duo. So my sister is very strong, was very strong and very sunny. So it was awesome being next to her. And by that time, I changed completely. I withdrawn and I needed like some sort of crutch because I didn't believe in myself or didn't talk a lot with other kids, always moody and stuff, didn't want to necessarily go to school. So if Tamara's going, I'm going. If she's doing it, I'm doing it. Very codependent, very much so. And when I wasn't with her, well, I adopted a clown per se, because like I said, I don't necessarily like people knowing what I'm feeling, but I also don't want to feel miserable. And I guess, I don't know, probably because my aunties and my grandmother are very funny people. And my dad, I picked it up as a habit, just reformulating everything as a joke. And then it just sticks.
Because otherwise it would have hurt you, or you think you would not have been seen?
And you could probably cry, and that's not a thing.
It is a thing. It is a thing.
Right. It was a thing, but not back then. Yes, no.
I mean, we say Native Americans or Indians don't cry, but they do cry. I had
Yeah.
an Aztec Indian on the show, and he said, "Man do cry." Aztec Native Americans do cry. It's a sign of strength.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
But it depends, right, how to cry. So I can see it started very early. So, but when did you actually realize where were you in life when you realized, oh, I have all this baggage from childhood, from kindergarten on. I created a codependency on my younger sister. I was withdrawn. I started to be a clown. I started to be different. So I'm not me. What happened that you're able to talk about it now? Because many people don't see that in the same situation.
Well, I was always able to talk about it with my auntie, for example. But like I said, I developed different coping mechanism throughout life. Like I started cutting myself when I was 9.
Already?
Uh,
Oh, wow.
'Cause I couldn't feel anything. Like I couldn't feel any sort of emotion, and it was weird. Like everybody felt something. So I was asking myself, like, why can't I feel anything? So that allowed me to feel. And when I was angry, it helped me calm down. But I knew that it was not a thing to do because it was something that I saw from another child at school doing that had a very rough background, but we were very close because she wasn't too judgmental. She was strong. So we ended up being very close. And our parents were friends since childhood. My dad grew up in the same neighborhood. So that's something that I've learned on how to cope. Um, because I always used to have nightmares since I was 7. Started having like awful, awful nightmares, and it always had to be. It always was always the same. It was recurring. Uh, like it was like a nightmare that I could remember from start to finish every single time, and it was always in the same frame, like nothing more, nothing less, like a loop, like a tape in a loop, but just a fragment of it.
You remember that
And
nightmare?
yeah,
You still
yes,
remember it? For ho
yes, I do remember it.
for how long did you have that nightmare? From 7 years t
I Up until I spoke with a person that deals with energy, and then it disappeared. Never had it again.
How old were you then?
34?
Whoa. So you had the same nightmare for 27 years?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. And was it like a dream that you're inside the dream, so you're really there, or was it the dream you just look at?
Well, it looked like I couldn't see myself, but I know it was me because I could feel me running, running through the woods. But everything is dark and you can't really see stuff. Only thing I notice is my surrounding is African. How I know is because I've been there, and the grass is different. It's not like the grass we have here. So that I could feel it. So I was barefooted and couldn't see anything besides like a little house, but like the wood shack houses that I've never seen in my life. In my life, I've not seen it rather than in a documentary, in a movie. I've not been in any type of places. Um, and the door is closed. I open, I go in, and all I can see at first glance is the fireplace, um, a table, and a lady at far. But I can't really picture her features because she throws a little white powder, like just blows it in my eyes. So I can see everything else besides the face. The only thing I can really pick like details on is a left foot that has like scars on it, very distinctive. Then from there, my attention goes on a pot that she has on the table. And there's a picture that's burning. And it's my man, my dad, and me. And it starts to sizzle in the middle, right? And he says, your protection is almost over. And because of this dream, I started to question very early.
Wow. At 7 years of age, you had a dream like that.
Yes. Yes.
So, but how is your connection with your parents now? Did it fall apart, or you still have a good relation?
Uh, we have a good run. Was it good, normal for what it can be? But yes,
So
yes,
it was not a view in the future, something like that. It was just a
no,
nightmare which
no,
really,
no.
really got to the core. And at 34, you went to an energy healer,
Yeah.
and it disappeared.
Well, yeah, because for a kid, it's like okay, like in my kid mind, I was just asking to myself, okay, how come every other brother has pictures with both you guys in it? Everybody's there, and there's not with me. But all the explanation that they gave me made absolutely sense. So I never questioned, never ever questioned. And I felt very, very guilty of even questioning in a sense, because they're very loving and all of that. So like, why am I thinking like this? But when I was like 7.5, and I remember like even having these dreams, I always used to be like very difficult trying to go to bed. Like it's not like it wasn't necessarily the fun time when it comes to going to bed, right? But we were very active as kids, and we were doing gymnastics, so we were often tired. And that day we were like um, we were celebrating my mom's birthday, so we were not home. We were by family friends, and the lady that was hosting the party told me like, "Listen, you can go and rest in my bedroom." So I went to rest in a bedroom, and there was the husband. So that was not a good encounter. That definitely left a little scar on me, and from there on, I didn't necessarily like to show people emotions or to tell what I feel or what's in my head. But I started studying people because I disliked adults since then when I was a kid, like with that utter dislike.
Wow. And
But
how was
still,
the relation then to the parents if you dislike adults and your aunts and family?
very good,
That was
because I
good.
was still in the end main at the, for what I remember, like good, um, questioning a lot of things, but like not understanding a lot. But we had like rules. You can't really ask too many questions uh, to your parents when it comes to, they know best, right? So if why would so you wouldn't question, why would mom and dad tell me that it is not the truth? So you wouldn't even question. You're like, ah, okay, so I'm the problem. So it's not necessarily that parents, they live under their own cultures and belief. But at that time, you like, how come everybody's having it smooth? And I have these thoughts in my head. How come I just can't live a normal life?
Oh, yeah, because not everyone has it smooth. We just think so because
Mm.
we all keep parts of ourselves away, right? And that's where you say you want to be transparent because you want to show probably how it could be better for the
Yes.
world, to be honest. So wow, we go really deep there. That sounds like a lot of painful memories, and which you're sharing with me here. Have you? What else have you been doing to work on them, to let go, or are you doing anything to let go? Are you moving? Can you see a change in yourself compared to now? You said when you met your partner, it was hard. It was like meeting the partner was very easy, but then afterwards being together was very hard because of being more
Yes.
truthful. Can you see a difference in you, in who you are, and how you feel?
Oh, utterly is completely two different people. Luckily, I was always very lucky to find teachers or that got me to professionals, and then aunties that got me to the right professional or institution to get the help that I needed at the time. So when I got to an adulthood, I already had a range of knowledge or things that I needed to practice in order to have a normal kind of life, in a sense. I didn't know that there was so many layers up until I met my partners, and what real authenticity means, what real owning stuff and embracing and leaving things behind so you can transmute means up until there. It wasn't necessary. It was more theory.
Hmm. Yeah. So what is it then? What is a spiritual journey for you? How would you describe it in your words, in your life?
I would describe my awakening journey as awakening
Awakening to what?
to uh, to your real purpose, to your higher self, to what was meant to be realigned. It's like you've been running in all circles, and now all you need to do is like ground yourself because the worst is in the past. Like literally, you were preparing for something huge. And I believe that. Always did.
Yeah, as you said before, you always thought bigger and thought like, why is everyone around me just okay with whatever they have? Um, I do know the feeling. Always thinking that there must be more.
Yeah.
There must be more, yet not knowing where to go. But I also know there's power in the being okay with how things are. So how do we have it now? I have a feeling which you can say it's the wrong feeling, but from listening to you, I have the feeling like you were running, as you said, from one side to the other. You were not really calm. Always doing. I don't know, working here, working there, not sitting down and just looking at the trees or the water or I don't know. Is that true?
It's very bad. Yes. Like lots of work. I used to love my work. Always did. So I was a support worker. And then I used to love working with people with disability. My favorite. Because the energy is so pure and that is just amazing. You're actually the one blessed to be there and not them, in a sense. But at the same time, it comes with a certain level of responsibility as a human being. And I utterly believe that. So for me, I loved it. I really loved it. And I was blessed enough to have a team around me that worked with, like we were a team working with different clients. And we had the work ethic and the spirit and the wanting of making. We wanted to make somebody else's life worth living because most people that are disabled, especially where we live in the system, even if they're not in care home, they just see people because they pay to take care of them. So again, you are coming to perform a service, but you're still kind of not really taking in account that that person is a human being and he may not communicate like we do or in a way that we don't understand or perceive. But nevertheless, he has the same needs. So just imagine yourself closing the house and you can just like see the days passing by. It's nice to see and to feel a person that wants to be there. And you can fake it all you want, but the energy never lies. So when you're really genuinely happy to be there, that makes the whole day. Yeah, you just made somebody else's life just 10 times better. And you don't even realize that. And you're still getting paid for that though. So I don't know. I guess or you have it or you don't. But it should be like that towards every human being.
So you really enjoyed. Are you still working as a social care worker, or did you stop? Did you
No,
change?
I stopped once the client died.
Oh,
Uh, I didn't want to go necessarily, not because um, I don't know. I didn't feel that. I felt that I need a break. Like if you're not completely invested, I don't think you should just consider it as a job. You should go and get a job, and that's what I did. So no, no, no. Um, I don't like the way things necessarily work in society. So I would like to come up with a different idea one day on how to take better care of the people that mostly need care.
yeah. So that means now you're. I don't have the notes here, but what are you working now with?
Well, now I'm studying fitness. Um, yes, because I do want the knowledge and I always wanted to work in the gym industry. But as I was studying, I completely lost the passion for it. whilst I'm still a person that trains and goes to the gym and I like the subject that I'm studying, is how we carry it out. Like I started observing things in society that didn't really quite make sense to me personally. And I was like, I don't necessarily want to teach somebody how to just take care of their body because that's just not fitness. That's aesthetics. And maybe, yes, you stronger. But if you don't necessarily know what that's worth, you're not gonna take the right care of it. You're not gonna perform the services that you could do with it. You're not gonna appreciate it because you don't necessarily know the value of it. So I wanted something different, right? And to do that, I think that fitness is mind, body, spirit. But we are often not taught that, and most often than not, when you learn it, there's something wrong with it. So why we need to wait that everything is wrong? Why can't we make it in a way that we can teach and keep each other accountable with the, with the service, also with the type of knowledge that we get and how to get it in a way that is sustainable, how to get everybody this access, like so it's accessible for everybody. Because I mean, the beauty of knowledge is to share it. And I think that that's the most beautiful thing that you can do. And if we share how to take better care, if we take better care, we're going to be better human. If we are better human, we're going to preserve better action. If they are better action, the vibration is higher. We all going to be a little bit better. I'm not saying let's create utopia. You can start with that.
Yeah, so mind, body, spirit. I just remembered while you shared a friend here in Denmark. He is, I always get it wrong, I think, physiotherapist or something like that. He works in a gym and he really wants to have this app for creating this app so people can train better, more efficient. And then in the process, he realized this is just, as you call it, aesthetics. I don't remember how he calls it, but it's just like for the ego, look how good I look. And he had actually the same experience, like, where's the mind, body, spirit connection in that? Right. So, well, I'm training and training and training and getting bigger, 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 stronger, stronger. But what for? Where to? What is the meaning? And so, how do you think?
You,
How do you think the mind, body, spirit can be connected?
oh,
Oh,
well, first of all, I think that it needs to start from the definition of the word itself. So we need to define what it is for us, health, fitness, what those things mean for us. And then from there, because you can take a different approach, because you can still do fitness. But if my goal is longevity, I'm going to train in a different way. If my goal is, bodybuilding and I'm participating in an event, then I have a different goal. If I'm preparing for a boxing event, then I'm gonna train completely different. So first of all, we need to define what is it for us and what our goals are. So if we're talking about getting a starting point of balance for health, let's start with that, right? Is your body healthy? What does that mean? So we're gonna check your body parameters, like your organs. How do you eat? How do how do you take care of yourself? What do you read? What do you put in your mind? How do you spend your day? All this is connected. All this makes a person. All your habits make you. Like what you think. So everything is connected. So, but every person is different. But at the same time, there are things that all people can implement to have a balanced starting point. And then you can build up from that.
yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do with unlocking health, creating this brand with my partner.
Yeah, I can see when you share it with health, and I hope that the listeners which are listening, it sounded to me, I for me it was like, okay, you talk about physical health, and then you start talking about what people read, what people think. So now, it's going. The health part it's more than just the physical health. It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, emotional health and
Yes.
spiritual health, and a mind health. Don't know how you want to call that, but
Yeah.
So it's kind of like more holistic. It's more over the whole thing.
Whole spectrum. Yes. Yes. More spectrum.
Yeah. So what is your experience in that? I mean, now you're going to school for the fitness, like the physical aesthetics.
Yes.
That's what you do in school. How do you what are you doing for the spiritual or mind part at the moment? Are you also exploring there and learning, or you wait?
Yes. Yes. No, no, no. I'm definitely exploring. First, like I'm trying as a case study on myself, and definitely we'll see if we can partner up. We'll find definitely people already within these branches, and that I definitely know this is why I want to try everything. So everything that I put out is something that I can vouch for, so it can be aligned with my message.
So it's with you. When did this idea come? Was it like you said during your studies, but is it like half a year ago that you had the idea that something is not aligned for you with the fitness training?
Well, everything from since I started all my journey with my partner and leaving the job, starting studying fitness, all the thoughts around that made me think like you can still be successful and be very good at your job and have the mind that needs a little bit more care, right? And that was me. Working, 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 saving money, not really doing nothing with it, but nevertheless working. And as soon as I stopped and I started studying, which is something that I always wanted to do, always wanted time to study, everything started crumbling down because now I have more time to interact with the partner that is loving and has time to guide you. And now you have the time to explore certain avenues that you didn't think because of self-imposed beliefs or things that you thought were there, but not necessarily were because of upbringing or, so all of this showed me how if we could have certain guidelines of health in place, no matter what the culture is, no matter what the religion is, you can still pretty much have a way to be grounded and healthy and perform for yourself.
Okay, yeah. So it's all
Okay.
the talks were starting to push you because you had more time, as you say. Before you
Yeah.
were busy working, busy going out, probably busy doing all kind of things, not sitting still,
Yes.
not feeling, not. So, are there any habits you added lately in the last 1 or 2 years to go deeper spiritually? Any practices?
Well, yes. So I definitely have a journal and it's on my phone, but I do the affirmation on my agenda so I can write because my partner always tells me that it's better to write because you can create better neural path so you can really feel it and embody it. So I make a point of doing that. And to be fair, I do feel a difference. um, so that I pray, but I always prayed in my life that I can't finish a day without praying. Um, and I stay more in silence. I never used to do that. I wish to have something in the background. And now I take more time to appreciate silence. Mm.
How can that look like?
Well, I like to go for walks and I like to walk when it's dark, especially, but I don't tend to do it a lot, of course. But yeah, I like to go for walks and my main thing is looking at the sky. Wherever I can see open sky, that's where I'm going to be. In silence. I like to look at the sky since I was little. I don't know why. It just calming and you you just feel like catapult in a different dimension. You you get to appreciate everything, your surroundings, the elements. Your brain starts to travel. You get more creative. before you know it, you wrote a song or poem. So that's why I like it.
So you say write a poem or a song. Are you writing songs and poems or?
Yes, I always did. It's just a hobby that I have since I was little.
Okay, so you have a lot of songs and poems. Anyone, did you share it with anyone or is it just for you?
No, no, I didn't share it with anyone, just for me.
Okay, okay. Did you ever think that it could be something to share as well?
Well, occasionally I did every now and then throughout my life, like seeing some of them maybe when I was little, a teen, still in school, and poems maybe share them with one or two friends as a gift, but nothing more than that. No.
Okay. So it's nothing that drives you. It's just it's for you to kind of
Yes.
let it go out
Si, si, si.
into the handwriting. Yeah, and I heard that as well. Writing kind of helps to process or to memorize or change neural paths in your brain. So the physical
Si,
activity instead of just saying it, saying
si.
and feeling. Uh, yeah. Did you have any other big aha moment in the last, let's say, 6 months or so? Something that you were able to shed, like the snake let go?
Yes, that first of all is very hard going through a process of healing, and most times than not, we want all the people that we care for to be on the same journey of us, to have the same epiphanies, because we all want to be feeling that sort of warmth and the new experiences together. And that's probably something to be very aware of, that we kind of want that as human beings, but is first of all, it cannot always be achievable. Everybody has their own timing. You can't force people. And I guess probably one of the hardest lessons is to accept it for yourself, really accept it. And I guess that that's also the other part, another facade of love that is not often talked about, because we often seem to be spoon fed this romantic side of love, but love is a lot of things, and I don't think that is talked enough.
Uh,
So there's not a lot of sharing of.
So what is love for you then?
Love, if definitely is my driving force. Okay. Uh, but I noticed that is something that is like water. Love is like water. You can't, like, water is the only element that nobody can replicate. No matter how hard they try, nobody can make water. And yet we all need water. And that's the same thing I think with love, right? But if you love in a way that is too anxious, you could restrict. So you could hurt. So it's a very delicate balance, loving. Because you can love somebody and they could not be healthy for you. And therefore you need to remove yourself, because sometimes by staying you could hurt somebody. And that's still this toxic love. There's, love. This could be love of the country, and that you internalize your love and then it's catapulted with fear towards somebody else. So love is a very frail balance. And to handle it, we need to handle it with care. But the more balanced you are as a person, the more you get to experience in depth, though, the entire facade of love.
Yeah, and now you say balance. So how do you work on your balance? Uh, is it with the journaling, with the walking in silence, looking up at the skies?
All, definitely training. I like to train. That makes you already like you have your dopamine intake, serotonin. Life is great when you train. That's so for sure. And when you're hydrated, gotta say that. And well, I pray. I got a very supportive network. So my partner, my aunties, so the people I talk to. Um, so I consider myself very fortunate to be there. Uh, so that helps me be grounded. And then I tend to do what I like. Like I have a job that I like. I go to the gym. I love doing boxing. And even though it's a hard discipline and I'm not as good as I wanted to be, it's very hard. But the sensation, what it leaves to me is a sensation of accomplishment. First of all, because boxing keeps you very honest. It's one of the discipline that no everything you put in is gonna give right back to you. So it keeps me aligned. Like it checks my ego. All of those things, because boxing will teach you that. And it taught me that and is applicable in and out of the ring. So that I think is a huge component.
Okay, boxing. Didn't think of
Yes.
boxing as keeping you in check. Uh, yeah, if you're not training good, you get it on your on your head. But it's a
Yeah.
very intense training. I know that. I've been doing once or twice boxing training. It was really hardcore, and I did a lot of sports. So yeah, I can see for you the physical activity and the, now also the calm. As you said, you didn't use the silence before, so it's giving the yin and yang. Um, what to kind of start closing down a bit before I go to my salsa. It's-
Did you say salsa?
yeah, salsa. I'm going dancing up,
As in, oh my God.
dancing
Oh, no.
salsa. Not
Wow.
salsa. No, I'm not doing that. I'm doing fasting this week, water fasting or juice fasting.
Wow.
So
Wow.
there's no sal.
How
There's
many?
no Italian spaghetti bolognese or something like that. Arrabbiata. Um, tortellini or something. No.
Really?
Perhaps there's gonna be some pizza with my son because they like when I make pizza for them. Yeah. Being Swiss in Denmark kind of makes you want to make your own pizzas because they don't know how to make a pizza in Denmark. Really, they have a different.
Oh, really?
They have a different taste. You can find
Okay.
Italian restaurants which do Italian pizzas, but generally
See, see.
Danes have a different taste. They put garlic sauce all over the pizza, for example. And I worked in a pizzeria, so we made salad on top of the pizza with garlic sauce, and another one was with spaghetti. So, so yeah, yeah. But on the other hand, I don't know. Okay? I can ask you. You grew up in Italy, so you're half Italian, or I mean, you grew up mostly. I love pizza with prosciutto fung with ananas. And so many people say ananas doesn't belong on it, pineapple do not belong on a pizza. I love it because it's a
Doesn't.
sweet
It
taste.
doesn't. That's blasphemy right there.
Y-
Right there.
What you just say is for my son. He's always coming, Dad, there's no pineapple, ananas on a pizza. But for me, it is.
Wise man.
So my
Wise
Italian
man.
friends, they don't care about that, at least not that I remember. But yeah, quattro stazioni and stuff like that, it's good.
Let's see.
See, very. Um, Now with your Italian background and African background, and you talk a lot about
See.
um, aunties, I hear a lot. How would you describe spirit or God? What is it for you?
Ooh, that's a good question. I wasn't ready. Damn. Okay. Uh, Okay, honestly, okay, since we talk about alignment and being authentically, my answer would be, and let him not hear me.
Mhm.
Uh, like I think first of all, this that a God, yeah, God exists, but is not in a human form as we imagine it, as we would like to imagine it. No, I think that God is love and love for everything, love for the environment, love for animals, love for humans, and definitely some sort of balance for every party involved. So definitely not something that we portray nowadays or ever did in a consistent manner. If you ask me, nature has more love to find. But definitely, the more we stay connected, I guess, with nature and s- spirit and the elements that really make our day, like the most banal, because we give for granted everything. But the first thing when you wake up in the morning, it's gonna be air, but we don't seem to remember that any day. Uh, you probably want a glass of water. That's not something that I see people being thankful for on a daily basis. So if we go back to the real elements that really make us our day, and we found real um, fulfillment and enjoyment from, I guess that we probably will definitely get to an answer.
Okay, so God is love,
Okay.
kind of for you, or loving.
Yeah.
And how would you describe a good life now with where you are?
Getting all my accomplishment and my ambitions met, which I will, with less chaos in the background.
more
That,
more harmonious, achieving your
yeah,
goals and yeah, targets in a harmonious way, basically.
yeah, yes.
And what do you think the bigger picture of us as individual humans, or as humans in general? Why are we here? What are we here to do? Do you have any idea?
That's interesting. I ask myself that question a lot, like not even funny, a lot. Like, what's the purpose of us here? Because I adore history, and sometimes I fall down that rabbit hole. And I found myself questioning, it seems we never seem to learn. Like, we never seem to learn because there's like quite some patterns that stand out quite like very easily to spot. But so that's what prompts the question. But if you ask me, I think we yearn to learn all these lessons.
And why?
We some hard too, but we turn up the class. We turn up the class. Yeah.
Ah, we are hard to learn, but we learn. Huh? So,
Yes.
so yeah. But what are we learning for? Is it to become a better human, or what? What do you think?
I think a part of me thinks that to become a better human. A part of me thinks that is just an experience that you need to have for something else that I don't know.
Yeah, which will come. I mean, we are still young. We're still learning.
Yeah.
We still have some life ahead. Is there anything I forgot to ask you, which is really dear to your heart, you want to share?
No, not that I know of. No.
Not that you know. So I kind of covered a bit of what you wanted to share with me. That's beautiful. Um, then how can people reach out to you? Where can people find you and your project? What was it again? The unlocking help, or what was it?
Yes, unlocking health.
Unlocking health. Oh, I remembered.
On Instagram.
On Instagram. So it's Unlocking Health on Instagram.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Is there any other place you want people to reach out to you, or is that?
Well, for now, we just have the part on Instagram. So
Yeah.
I will definitely update everything from there if there's any new
Yeah.
feedback to give.
Yeah, and eventually I could also update the show notes if there's anything added.
Yes.
To
Wow, that's not.
yes, thank you so much for today, and for the listeners, please subscribe, like, whatever to me or to Shamilla, and yeah, thank you so much for being here, and
Thank
I
you.
like this interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was lovely.